Entry-level hiring at the Big Four and major tech firms has collapsed up to 40% since ChatGPT launched. Youth unemployment for college graduates in the U.S. just hit its highest level since 2013, during a hiring boom. Your four-year degree isn't a ladder anymore. It's a trap. And the data I'm about to show you proves it's already too late to pretend otherwise. Let's start with who's getting hit first: the kids. Youth unemployment is the canary in the coal mine for entry-level demand, and the canary is convulsing. Look at the United States, the UK, and South Korea, three economies that bet everything on white-collar credentialism. Since 2022, youth unemployment has snapped upward, even as overall unemployment stayed historically low. That divergence has never happened before. In every prior cycle, young and old moved together. Now they don't. Why? Because the jobs being destroyed aren't factory jobs or retail jobs. They're the spreadsheet, slide deck, summarize this report jobs that 22-year-olds used to do. Germany, with its apprenticeship system, is barely moving. Korea, the most credential-obsessed nation on Earth, is spiking. This isn't a recession. This is a structural amputation of the bottom rung. Now, here's the counter-argument every parent and guidance counselor will throw at you. But degree holders still have lower unemployment than non-degree holders. The premium is real. Stay in school. Okay. Let's actually look at unemployment among the advanced educated. For 30 years, this number was a flat, boring line near the floor. A degree was a near guarantee. Watch what happens after 2022. In the US, the UK, and Canada, unemployment among the advanced educated is rising faster than unemployment among everyone else. The gap is closing. In some quarters, recent college grads now have higher unemployment than the general population. That has literally never happened in the post-war era. The degree premium isn't disappearing slowly. It's collapsing. The counter-argument isn't wrong about history. It's wrong about the next 10 years. Now stack supply on top of collapsing demand. Tertiary enrollment, the share of young people enrolled in college, has exploded. South Korea is at over 100% enrollment. The US sits near 90%. Australia and the UK aren't far behind. We've spent 2 decades manufacturing degree holders at industrial scale, on the assumption that the knowledge economy would keep absorbing them. It won't. Every year, more graduates pour into a market where the entry-level rungs are being deleted by software that costs $20 a month. Germany, notice, sits dramatically lower because Germans funnel teenagers into paid apprenticeships, not lecture halls. Guess which country's youth are doing fine right now? This is a supply and demand catastrophe. And the supply side is still accelerating. It gets worse. Governments are still pouring public money into this collapsing asset. Look at tertiary education spending as a share of GDP across the major economies. The US, UK, Canada, Australia, all still spending big on universities whose core product is being automated. Meanwhile, student debt in America just crossed $1.7 trillion. Families are leveraging their entire net worth to buy a credential whose return on investment is mathematically deteriorating in real time. This is the worst time capital allocation of the 21st century. We're subsidizing the production of a credential at the exact moment AI is making that credential redundant. If a hedge fund made this trade, it would be shut down by Monday. Now, the kill shot. Who's funding the AI that's eating these jobs? Look at R&D spending as a share of GDP. South Korea, over 4.9%, the highest on Earth. The US, near 3.5% and accelerating. Both countries are simultaneously cranking out the most college graduates and building the AI systems that make those graduates redundant. They are literally paying twice. Once to manufacture the workers, once to manufacture the technology that replaces them. Germany invests heavily in R&D too, but its labor system routes young people into skilled trades AI can't easily touch: electricians, machinists, technicians. The countries doing best in this transition aren't the ones with the most degrees. They're the ones with the fewest useless ones. Put it all together. Demand for entry-level white-collar work is collapsing. Supply of degree holders is still climbing. Governments are still subsidizing the supply, and the same governments are funding the AI that's destroying the demand. This is not a cycle, it's a regime change. The economies hit hardest are precisely the ones that told an entire generation that a bachelor's degree was the only legitimate path to the middle class. Germany, Switzerland, the Netherlands, countries that kept apprenticeships alive, are weathering this. Korea, the UK, and the US are not. The data doesn't predict a soft landing. It predicts a lost decade for degree holders born after 2000 unless something structural changes. Here's the verdict. The four-year college degree is the worst financial bet of the 21st century for the average student starting today. Not because education is worthless, because the specific product universities sell, a generalist credential aimed at entry-level knowledge work, is the exact product AI replaces first and cheapest. The data is unambiguous. Entry-level hiring is collapsing, graduate unemployment is climbing, enrollment is still rising, and AI investment is accelerating. Anyone telling an 18-year-old to take on 200 grand of debt for a generic bachelor's degree in 2025 is not giving advice. They're giving a sales pitch. The smart move is the one Germany figured out decades ago: skills, apprenticeships, applied training. The future belongs to people who can do things AI can't, not people who can summarize things AI already does for free. If you want the charts before the headlines, subscribe. I read the data so you don't have to guess what's coming next. New video every week, no opinions, just the numbers nobody else is putting on screen.